Hello and welcome to Europe on Tour, our show about the European elections. To discuss about the election campaign and the latest poll results, I'd like to welcome in our studio in Brussels the Olivier Hanrion. He did not have a long way to come. He's from RTBF, from our Belgian partner. Hello, Olivier.
Hello, Daniel.
And we have Matjaž Trošt, the Brussels correspondent of RTV Slovenia. Hello, Matjaž.
Hello, Daniel.
On the phone, we say hello to Gigi Donelli from Radio 24, from our Italian partner. Buongiorno to Milano, Gigi.
Buongiorno, Daniel.
So let's start. We come back to you, Gigi, in a moment. Let's start with a man from the smallest EU country in this round, with Slovenia, with Matjaž. In Slovenia, we have somehow a governmental crisis. The Prime Minister stepped down last week. And she announced in an interview with RTV that there are going to be elections probably before the summer break. So this would be very close to the European elections.
Yeah, apparently the most probable date today is around 13th of July or a week after that. But there is quite some skepticism about that date because usually people during summer are on holidays, so that won't really be a good date for many of Slovenian voters.
So how will this affect the campaign for the European elections? Is there going any European campaign then?
Well, it depends what you mean by European. There is a campaign regarding the European elections, but it's more to do with the interior things that are going on within the parties that have formed the government and between the former coalition and the opposition. So basically there is no genuine debate on the European topics, but there is a lot of debate on whether this government was good, whether the reasons why they fell apart were, let's say, genuine, or there was somebody from behind wanting, just to have an early election so they can benefit on this anti-government, let's say, feeling in the public.
Gigi, speaking about governmental crisis, you have a new Prime Minister, Matteo Renzi. He spoke a few days ago on Europe. He said that he's dreaming of the United States of Europe. That was quite a strong European statement. What is his role in this campaign? How important are these European elections for him?
Well, I would say that for him are very much important, because that's the first time that is presented to the Italian public opinion as a leader. We have to remember that Matteo Renzi was never elected as a prime minister, but still the latest votes that concern him is that of mayor of Florence, which is an historical city, but by no means the most important city in the country. So what many reproach to him is that exactly he has no public support. And of course, because of that, the election of the 25th, so the European election, will be more than usual, as our fellow colleague from Slovenia say. I mean, in Italy it's the same. We vote internally for Europe, but this time is even more than we used to.
And Renzi's party is now a member of the group of the European Socialists. Their leading candidate, Martin Schulz, a German, he's quite known in Italy, I think, but not because he is the leading candidate. It's more because of Silvio Berlusconi, I can imagine.
Absolutely. Now it's exactly a 10-year-old story because, as we all know, the violent accusation, I mean, not only to Schulz, but to the German people, that was done 10 years ago, and that was the very beginning of the Italian presidency, so a very specific moment, made Martin Schulz a very popular figure in the political landscape. But it's important to remember that 10 years ago, Berlusconi was very high on ranking. At that time, his party was sailing around the 35%. So it was by large the first Italian party, while now this role is supposed to be taken by Matteo Renzi, Democrat Party.
And what about the Forza Italia, the party of Silvio Berlusconi? They had 15 seats in the parliament. That was a lot out of 35 seats for the European People's Party, the Italian group. Are they going to be that strong again?
Well, no. The answer should be no. The approach, the poll is saying that Forza Italia, with a very complex story in between, the change of the party, the sharing of the party members. So now there are two parties from the original one, and let's say that the objective, the target of Silvio Berlusconi would be 20%. And of course, it's always very hard to make, let's say, a plan with Berlusconi because its capacity to recover is very well known. But polls indicates him around 19% now.
Okay, thank you, Gigi. We come back to you in a moment. Olivier, in Belgium, the campaign for the European election is a bit difficult to organize because we don't have one election, we have more elections. Yeah. Do the people even know that there are European elections?
Not really. Actually, they do know, but when you go to the markets, for instance, and when you ask people, what are you going to vote for on the 25th of May, their answer is, oh yes, we will vote to change our government, we will vote for the federal level, we will also vote for the regional levels, and we will vote for maybe the local elections. So when you told them, no, maybe it will be the European elections, they say, oh yes, European elections.
Is this always like this, or is it especially now?
No, it's especially now because there will be 3 votes in one day, and obviously the national issues have hijacked the campaign. And if you look on the paper, for instance, if you read the newspaper this morning, I opened Le Soir, which is one of the biggest newspaper in Belgium. You have 8 special pages for the elections, but only one of these 8 pages concern the European election. It's not really actually talking about the issue of the debate. It's more a portrait of, I think today it was Nigel Farage, yesterday it was José Bové. So there is a campaign, but it's not a very loud campaign.
Mm-hmm. According to polls, about 25% of the MEPs of the next parliament could be Eurosceptics or even opponents to the European Union. What do you expect from the Belgian side here?
It's difficult. The Belgian political landscape is complicated because it's cut in 3 according to the community you belong to. So if you belong to the German-speaking community, there is a very tiny German-speaking community, you will have 1 MEP, and definitely it's not going to be a big revolution there. Then if you are a member of the Dutch-speaking community, which is the biggest community in Belgium, and that's then 13 MEP to Brussels, you have today 2, nearly 3 extreme right MEPs from the Vlaams Belang, and another one from a party which is very close to the extreme right. It's for sure they will not have that many seats, but there will be another party which I wouldn't consider as extreme right, but with a very nationalistic view called the NVA, wants Flanders to be independent. We will definitely be the first party in Flanders.
They had only one until now, but they are going to have more.
Exactly, they will have more, but I wouldn't necessarily consider them as Eurosceptic. They are regionalists for sure, but not necessarily Eurosceptic. On the economic point of view, they are very close to the liberal. They could actually be part of the EPP family as well. They could be. They could also be part of the ALDE family.
It's not clear yet.
It's not clear yet. Exactly, it's a discussion. But these families that we are talking about are not necessarily the most Eurosceptic ones, and I don't think that EPP or any other group would like a very Eurosceptic party within its member.
We had Philippe Klaas in the parliament. He held press conferences together with Marine Le Pen, the front leader of Front National. She wants to form a group. She needs 25 members out of 7 countries. What do you expect from the Vlaams Belang? Are they going to be a part of this group?
They will probably be part of this group. I mean, they do communicate with Marine Le Pen together. Most of the time we see them together. But I don't think they will bring that many MEPs. They will bring 1 MEP maybe. They have 2 at the moment. I think they will lose 1 MEP for sure.
Mm-hmm. Gigi, what about the Lega Nord, if we are speaking of the right wing? They had 7 MEPs. They also met with Marine Le Pen. Do you think Lega Nord will join her group?
Yes, well, that's what they said. From this point of view, I mean, I wouldn't see any doubt. Matteo Salvini, the new chief of the party after many years of Umberto Bossi, is very much pushing on the, let's say, Marine Le Pen side. The question is, which result will he gather? Because, you know, in the past election, so the 7 parliamentary corresponded to a 10% on the national scale. Now the poll says 5 to 5.5%. So in this perspective, we are talking about 3 representatives, 3 parliamentary. So this is another big question. I would say yes, the political campaign of the Lega Nord was even more right-oriented and anti-immigration than normally was. And so I wouldn't have any doubt about the connection with the extreme right in Europe, but the result is a big question mark.
Matjaž, your country has 8 MEPs. None is from the extreme right. No Eurosceptics in the campaign also?
Well, there are Eurosceptics in the campaign, but it's hardly believable that a party that would be Eurosceptic would emerge as having at least one. But there are kind of, you know, a couple of parties have people that have in the past said that there are things that are wrong with this European Union, with the euro, and you know the whole institution making and decision making in the institutions. So there are a couple of ideas, you know, that we should change the way EU functions, but so that they would be labeled Eurosceptic, that's really not something we could do.
Actually, you are celebrating the 10 years of your membership in the European Union, so do other countries. And some evaluations are quite positive, like the one of the Foreign Minister of Slovakia. Let's listen what he had to say.
It's very clear when we look 10 years back that Slovakia is now a better place to live. There are figures that prove that we are now in the very heart of European integration. We are members of the Eurozone. Of course, being part of the Schengen. So this is what our people appreciate, because they can see, they can feel.
They can see, they can feel. That's what the minister says. During the last European elections, Slovakians did not go to vote so frequently. They have only 18%. It was the lowest participation for the vote. In Slovenia, we had 28%. It's not very much. To what you expect? Are there going to be more?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, the euphoria that sort of was present 10 years ago, there is no more. I mean, we had the crisis. We were on the verge of a bailout. So there are things that, you know, people have thought that this would be the land of milk and honey, but it's the idea was that maybe their sort of ideas were wrong, you know. So in this case, there is like a disillusionment with the EU, but on the other hand, I mean, people are, and the parties now are trying to get people out to vote, telling them that their vote counts, and we'll see. I mean, it's difficult to predict, but I don't really expect like a major surge in the voter turnout.
We have time for one last question, maybe to everybody. Who is going to be the next president of the Commission? Olivier, do you have any idea?
No, I've looked at my crystal ball this morning, and frankly, I have no idea. I guess it will be between Martin Schulz and Jean-Claude Juncker. For a while, people were talking about an outsider that could come out at the last minute, but according to the last debate, all candidates said it couldn't be the case. So it's going to be amongst one of these two. Which one? I have no idea.
Gigi, what do you think?
Well, of course, Schulz or Juncker, what I can say that this time, compared to 2009, Italy will help the socialist side. And this is probably the only thing that is sure. So very much more a democratic party and so social European party.
And Matjaž, what's your suggestion?
I would go with Olivier. I have no idea.
No idea. Okay, a bit more than 1 week to go, and then we will know more about the results of these European elections. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. See you soon on Europe on Tour.